Hi everyone. So today we will be discussing a very important concept of population genetics. So this concept comes back in the chapter of genetics as well as in the chapter of ecology for you guys, where you study ecosystems. Now, as you all know that genes have two alleles according to Mendelian genetics, a dominant allele and a recessive allele. Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium states that for any given gene, its allelic frequency, so the distribution of the allele amongst the population is its allelic frequencies, the allelic frequency, right? So the allelic frequency or the genotypic frequency for any given gene will always stay constant, given that the population has or follows a few assumptions. These assumptions are that there are no evolutionary forces working on that population. So evolution is not directly affecting the population. So the first thing that needs to happen to ensure that evolution is not happening is natural selection. Natural selection was Darwin's theory of evolution, theory of origin of species, natural selection, survival of the fittest. What Darwin's theory says that for any given character, the character that is better suited to the change in the environment or the fitter character will always sustain, whereas the less fit character will be eliminated from the population. From a genetic perspective, if we were to think, then for a given gene, there are two alleles or multiple alleles. The alleles which give a positive effect on the phenotype of the individual will be able to survive, whereas the ones with negative phenotypes have a lesser chance of getting inherited to the next generation, and therefore gradually, probably with over generations, they will be eliminated. So selection works in two directions. It can be a natural positive selection, or it can be a natural negative selection. A very good example is Huntington's chorea. It is a lethal disease whose onset happens in adulthood as compared to any other lethal disease. Lethal diseases are rare in the population, genetic lethal diseases, because by the time the organism with the disease would be able to reproduce and pass it on, they do not survive to that age, and therefore the genes are not passed on to the next generation. However, Huntington's chorea has somehow evaded this technique, and as a result, because it happens only to the adults, by that time the individual has already passed on the genes before he comes to know that he has the disease, and the disease moves on and it's still very viable in the society. So natural selection is one of those forces which will hinder Hardy-Weinberg's equilibrium. So the population in which Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium will hold will have no natural selection. It will have no genetic drift and gene flow. So no large amount of genes, genes in the sense same gene, different types of genotypes will not come into the population, neither will the gene pool of the population, a fraction of it will move out. So there will be no emigration into that population regarding that same gene. Inbreeding is obviously breeding amongst the same kin. That is not happening in the population, and the population has to be randomly mating. So what do we mean by random mating? Random mating means there is no sexual selection. No sexual selection matlab random mating. They are two opposite sides of the same coin, right? Sexual selection happens when an individual selects a particular genotype, a particular phenotype rather, as a sexual preference. When that does not happen, it is known as random mating. Correct? So if all of these criteria are met, then for a single locus of a gene where there are two alleles, Capital A being the dominant allele, small a being the recessive allele, we will say that the frequency of the dominant allele is P, we will name it P, frequency of the recessive allele is Q. So basically frequency matlab numbers of individual upon total population. That is the frequency. So according to Hardy-Weinberg's law, then P plus Q across generations will always stay constant, will be equal to 1. Okay. Now, then if I do a whole square of P plus Q by the very simple formula A square plus 2AB plus B square, you have this. Right. So now what does this signify? So let's make a Punnett square for our given alleles. You have capital A on one side. Okay, let's take heterozygous. Capital A, small a, capital A, small a. Then you have capital A, capital A. Right? So then the frequency for this would be P into P, that's P square. For this would be Q into Q, that's Q square. Right? For this it would be P into Q, that's PQ, and for this as well it's going to be P into Q, that's PQ. That means that P square is the genotypic frequency for capital A, dominant and homozygous. Q square is the genotypic frequency for small a, that is recessive, and PQ, because we get two of them, 1:2:1 ratio. So therefore this is the genotypic frequency for capital A, small a, or the heterozygous condition. So that means that the heterozygotes in any given population is twice individually of AA or small a. Right? So this is the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. We will solve a question on it to see what kind of questions you can face and how to encounter them. Now let's solve this question. Okay, so in this question they are talking about scale coloration of lizards in a complete dominance relationship. Obviously we are talking about two alleles, so it has to be a genetic dominant recessive relationship. In this, green scales, so capital G, are dominant over blue scales, which is small g, and they have given you the numbers for each. So you have 1,024 of dominant homozygous, you have 512 of dominant heterozygous, and you have 64 of recessive, obviously homozygous. Now we have to find what? We have to find the frequency of the dominant and recessive allele. So frequency of dominant allele is P, frequency of recessive allele is Q. And you have to find the frequency of individuals with all three genotypes. So you have to find P square, you have to find Q square, you have to find 2PQ. These are the things that you have to find. This is what your question asks of you. So let's start with the allelic frequencies first. Now, it's very easy to understand that frequency is number of individuals in a given particular criteria upon total. Right? So, frequency of small g, that is Q square, will be what? 64 upon the total. So the total of 1024 plus 512 plus 64 is 1600. So it will be upon 1600, right? So now why did we not do it with this or this, with the dominant conditions? You have to understand that for any given characters, here it has been broken down for you. But in the next question, see, 1092 individuals with green and 108 with blue scales. The moment they say 1092 with green, you don't know whether it is capital G green or small g capital G small g green, right? So you don't know whether it's talking about p square or 2pq. Actually, it's talking about both, but you don't know the proportion in which p square and 2pq is present out of this 1092 individuals. But for a recessive condition, for 108, you know this is 108 stands for q square because it's small p, right? So hence, we always start with the recessive character, which comes to 0.04. So then q square is 0.04. From here on, it's pretty basic. Q is then, see, p plus q is equal to 1. Therefore, p is 1 minus q. Therefore, you have to find the value of q. Then q would be root over of q square 0.4. That's 0.2. Right? So 1 minus q then would be 0.8. Therefore, p square would be 0.8 whole square, that's 0.64. So now you have p, you have q, you have p square. To find 2pq, you do 2 into p into q. So that's 2 into 0.8 into 0.4. Sorry, 0.2. So that's 0.32. Now what you have to check to see if this is an equilibrium or not is, you have to check if p square plus 2pq plus q square is equal to 1. Now because p plus q is equal to 1, this will suffice. Let's just anyway check. So p square is 0.64, 2pq is 0.32 and q square is 0.04, which is equal to 1, right? So then this particular population in question A that we have is in equilibrium, right? So the next part of the question says that the same population, not the same population, the same group of organisms in the next generation has 1092 individuals with green scales and 108 with blue scales. So obviously we'll start with blue. So q square, as we know, would be 108 upon the total, which is 1200, which should come to 0.09. Therefore, q is 0.3 and therefore p is 0.7, p square is 0.49. 2pq then is 2 into 0.09 into, 0.3 into 0.7, which is 0.42. Okay. The next part of the question is number of homozygous and heterozygous individuals. So now we know that p square is equal to what? P square is equal to 0.49. What is p square? It is basically number of p square individuals upon total. So if I were to find out, if I were to multiply 0.49 into the total number of individuals, then we'll get the number of p square individuals, right? So that would be 0.49 into 12, which will come to something around I think 588. Okay. Similarly, for the individuals with q square, what we will do for q square individual, sorry, not q square, we need 2pq. So for 2pq individuals, we will do 0.42 into 1200, that's 504. Add them up, they should come to 1092, 12, 9, yeah. Okay, so that's how you solve Hardy-Weinberg problems. I hope this much was clear. Thank you.